There was a mental disorder there where I just gave up and I literally tried to off myself. We can believe so strongly about what we are, what we aren't, and be so wrong. So I just finished rewriting a chapter in the book about fatherlessness. I had to pretty much revamp it entirely because it just didn't sit with me well. Finished it, I'm happy with it, but the crazy thing is I've always felt as though there's a sense of self-deception in many different areas of life. But what I learned is, for instance, fatherless children are always lumped into a series of different categories through research and data, statistics. They always say the likelihood of fatherless children to fall into crime, poverty, to be sexually abused, to be in abusive relationships, and like there's a whole slew of different categories that we supposedly fall into. And I'm writing a book about this, and I'm 38 years old now. So as I'm writing and I'm going through my history, I realized, like, you know what? I do fall in these categories. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't begin like falling into the majority of the categories until after I was raped in college. So because of that, I think that the link to fatherlessness was always missing for me. I just felt like these were just my decisions. This is what I chose to do. It's just where I was, so on and so forth. But the point of this particular chapter is how growing up fatherless set the bedrock and set the foundation for all these other things to be able to occur. So growing up without a father left various empty pits that would allow sexual assault to happen. So for instance, I didn't know we lacked resources and things like that, but while writing, it dawned on me that my mom always lived on Section 8. My mom, she had food stamps throughout the years and other government benefits. We lived in poverty. She was a single stay-at-home mom. Academic performance, I didn't think I fell into poor academic performance until basically it didn't start occurring until after I was raped in college. My last 2 years of college began to decline. Dean's List was no more, so I tiptoed into that category. Drug and alcohol abuse, one of my coping mechanisms in college was, I didn't like to taste alcohol, never have, was I smoked weed on a daily basis, multiple times a day. So that's another category that I fall into. Promiscuity and I was never pregnant. I don't consider myself to have ever been promiscuous. I don't feel like I've had a whole lot of partners, but depending on people's scales, so I'm not sure about promiscuity. I would still say sexuality was impacted. So some more mental disorders. I never suffered from mental disorders. However, what I remembered was 2 semesters after the rape, I attempted suicide. So, there was a mental disorder there, where I just gave up and I literally tried to off myself. So there's more categories that I can go through, and they're in the book. But ultimately the point is, for all of this time, even up until the process of actually writing this book, I didn't realize the fact that I did fall into these categories. So I guess there's like another level of impact that I guess I may have to kind of dig into and allow Holy Spirit to reveal some things to me. So the point that I really want to drive home is the reality that we can believe so strongly about what we are, what we aren't, what we experience, how it impacted us, how it didn't impact us, and be so wrong. So something that I want to do is start trying to figure out ways to really reflect in a meaningful way so that I can move away from believing what I desire to believe and begin transitioning towards the truth.